So we're talking about growing things today. And we're going to read some stories about growing things and gardening. And I wore my gardening clothes, and I even brought some of my gardening tools. Now, my gardening tools are not toys. They are sharp, and they are made to dig in the dirt and to tear up weeds. So I brought them to show, but we can't play with these. But if you talk really nice to your mom and dad, they might take you to Hudson's Hardware or to Walmart and buy you a kid-size set, and then you'd have your own set. Let's start with something simple. Who knows what this is?
A rake.
Not a rake. I knew somebody would know. Who knows what this is called? He's got one, but what does he call it? That thing I have to stay at the other end of and get weeds up all weekend. This is called a hoe. Can you say hoe? You chop with it. You chop dirt and you move dirt with it. And by chopping, I mean you chop up those nasty old weeds. Because the weeds eat all the good stuff out of the dirt. Now here's another tricky one. Yeah, I know this is tricky, but I like it. It's one of my other favorite garden tools. Who knows what this is?
A rake.
I told you it was tricky. Looks like a rake, but it's not very wide. You'd spend a lot of time trying to rake with something like that. This is a big word. Y'all think you can say a big word for me this morning? It's called a, are you ready for it? Four-tine cultivator. Four-tine cultivator. All right, one more time. Four-tine cultivator. I have made farmers out of these children. They're so smart. This is for like when you've already got the weeds out, but you still want to dig the soil, because the soil likes to breathe. And this helps us get dirt to the soil. Now, how many of you as mamas plant flowers? Still not a rake. I didn't bring a rake. I figured everybody knew what a rake was, so I bought stuff y'all wouldn't know what it is. This is real simple if you think on terms of eating lunch or supper. This is called a, who wants to guess? A fork. Somebody said it. This is called a garden fork. And if your mom likes to plant a lot of those flowers, those flowers that get happy with herself and make more and more each year, this is what we use to dig up plants. We use this thing, even in this clay soil in Johnston County, which I am fortunate enough to live in a small sandy strip. But this is how we dig up plants. We put it there, and we dig down, and then we lift like that, and the plant comes out of the ground. Now, y'all already knew what a rake was because you called the name so many times. So I didn't bring a rake. And there are little hand-sized tools. So when you're looking at these stories that we're fixing to read to you and looking at the pictures, look and see if you see some of these tools. Let me get lights for me. First thing we're going to read is A Garden for Miss Mouse. And it is by Michaela Muntean. Do mouses plant gardens? Well, they eat somehow. They don't go to Walmart and get it. They must be planting something. Every 1st of April, Miss Mouse tills and rakes and hoes. Then she plants a garden in neat and tidy rows. A little row of carrots, a little row of beans, and then another little row of lovely lettuce greens. But this year, when she started to plant her little rows, she stopped and said, quite suddenly, "This bores me to my toes." "I know what I'll do," she said, and then she danced a jig. She grabbed her biggest shovel, and she began to dig. "I'll plant the biggest garden ever seen by any mouse." And then up came every bit of land around her little house. Look at that. She's dug her whole yard up. Next, she had to plant the seeds. It took her all day long. And while she planted, she sang a planting song. Now, can y'all help me with this? Because we're going to see it again. Plant a little of this and a little of that. Cover the seeds and give it a pat. All right, can we try that one more time? Plant a little of this and a little of that. Cover the seeds and give it a pat. All right. Every day she hoed and she raked and she tilled and she pulled weeds. And soon green plants were springing up where she had planted seeds. The plants all started growing. They grew and grew and grew. and everyone in Mouseville came to ah and ooh. Oh, what lovely peas, they cried, and see that beanstalk climb? Reporters took Miss Mouse's picture for the Mouseville Times. Well, the garden grew much bigger, and then it grew some more, and it covered all the windows, and it covered the front door. That garden was enormous. The plants grew so very high that Miss Mouse used a flagpole to get her laundry dry. Well, the mailman, he had to leave letters on top of a beanstalk vine while Miss Mouse proudly laughed and said, "Isn't my garden fine?" Then, one day, she woke to find 5 mushrooms on her sheet, 10 pea pods on her pillow, and 6 peppers at her feet. There were green beans in the basement and wax beans on the wall. There was celery in the ceiling and pumpkins in the hall. This is pretty close to a hoarder's version of vegetables. Yeah, really. Tomatoes in the bathtub, spinach on a chair, turnips on the table, and zucchini everywhere. Cabbage in the kitchen, corn cobs in the hutch. Oh my goodness, cried Miss Mouse, my garden has grown too much. She knew she had to call for help, but she couldn't find a phone. And then finally she found it where some Brussels sprouts had grown. She called her best friend Field Mouse and asked him to come quick and bring everyone you know, she cried. There are vegetables to pick. So everyone in Mouseville rushed out to help Miss Mouse. Where are you? They cried helplessly. We cannot see your house. My garden's growing everywhere, her friends could hear her shout. Please start picking vegetables, for I cannot get out. She's trapped by her garden. And so they started picking. Fruits and vegetables galore. They picked more kinds of vegetable than you've ever seen in any store. And finally they found Miss Mouse, and she cried, how could I know that this is what would happen when things begin to grow? Don't worry, said Field Mouse, told her. It isn't all that bad. We'll make the biggest salad that we have ever had. So all that day they made salad. They chopped and tossed and peeled. Then they had a garden party on Mouseville's football field. Look at all of them eating. They're all having salads, and they got French dressing and blue cheese dressing, and they got all kinds of fresh greens and vegetables and tomatoes. Goodbye and thank you, said Miss Mouse when all her friends were gone. Next year I'll keep my garden small, and I won't do too much growing.
This is written and illustrated by Lois Elhert. Every year, Mom and I plant a rainbow. In the fall, we buy some bulbs. Not light bulbs, these are flower bulbs. We order seeds from catalogs and wait all winter long for spring to warm the soil and sprout the bulbs. Then it's time to go to the garden center to select some seedlings. We sow the seeds and set out the plants in soil and watch the rainbow grow and grow. We have some red flowers and orange flowers and some yellow blooms. They're the daffodils. We grow something green and some blue flowers. Aren't they beautiful? There's morning glories and hyacinths, cornflowers, and some purple flowers too. You know what the first one is? A crocus, and next to that is some phlox, and there's an iris and violets, asters, and a pansy at the very end. All summer long, we pick them and bring them home. When summer's over, we know we can grow our rainbow again next year.
Okay, I want everybody to stand up. Keep your inside voice on. Shh. Okay, we're shooting up just like the flowers come up in the spring, right? Now, everybody's got beautiful colors on. Turn around like a flower and just show us how pretty you are today. Oh, my goodness, everybody. Now go the other way. Go the other way. Go the other way. Show everybody how beautiful you are. How beautiful you are. Reach up to the sky. Reach up to the sky to get the sunshine, right? And now we're going to sit right back down to the earth where we get our food. Okay, everybody sit down and be nice and quiet. And I'm going to read Corduroy's Garden. Dig, 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 plop, 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 pat, pat, pat. There, said Lisa, my beans are all planted. Lisa watered the seeds. Then she picked up Corduroy. Come on, Corduroy, she said, I have an important job for you. She took Corduroy inside and put him in a chair by the window. The window had a view of the garden. I want you to watch the beans, said Lisa. Then off she went to school. Wow, said Corduroy, I get to watch the beans. Corduroy got right to work. He watched and he watched. He saw a man next door raking and a lady walking her baby. He saw butterflies and birds and shapes in the clouds. Soon the sun began to feel warm. Corduroy yawned, and yawned. Then Corduroy fell sound asleep. Jingle, jingle, jingle. A puppy pushed open the gate. Corduroy did not hear the puppy's tags or the sound of the gate. The puppy began digging. Digging. Thwack, thwack, thwack. Dirt hit the window. Corduroy woke up and looked out the window. His fur stood on end. Oh no, cried Corduroy, the beans. Rap, rap, rap. Corduroy tapped on the window, but the puppy kept on digging. Thwack, 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 and digging, then plunk. The puppy put his bone in the hole. Flick, flick, flick. He buried it and left it in the garden. Corduroy jumped down from the window. I have to find more seeds, said Corduroy. Corduroy looked in Lisa's desk. He looked in a box. He looked under the bed. Why, there are some seeds, said Corduroy. See, he found a little bucket or something that was under the bed, and there are seeds inside. Corduroy there's 3 seeds in his pocket and went to the garden. Dig, 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 plop, 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 pat, pat, pat. There, said Corduroy, the beans are all replanted. Corduroy went inside and climbed back in the window. This time, said Corduroy, I will watch the beans more carefully. And he did. He watched them on sunny days. He watched them on rainy days. He watched them on the days in between. Soon 3 little shoots came up. They grew and grew. The stems wrapped around the stakes. Corduroy kept watching. The plants grew leaves and flowers. Then little beans began to form. I see a bean, said Corduroy. He clapped his paws. I must be getting good at bean watching. He put on his sunglasses and got back to work. Then jingle, 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 Corduroy took off his glasses. Oh, no, thought Corduroy, the puppy. The puppy had come back for his bone. Corduroy blocked the beans. The puppy stopped and looked at Corduroy. His ears went up. Ruff, said the puppy. Corduroy shut his eyes. But the puppy did not take the bone. He took Corduroy instead. The puppy played toss with Corduroy. Corduroy flew up and down and up and down. Then the man next door said, no, thunk, and Corduroy fell to the ground. The man picked Corduroy up and dusted him off. I know where you live, said the man. He took Corduroy home, and just in time, squeak, the school bus stopped out front. See the farmer taking Corduroy home where he belongs? Lisa ran through the garden gate. Oh, look, she cried, I see beans on the vine. And she picked up Corduroy and ran to see. Lisa held a bean in her hand. She turned it from side to side. Her eyes grew wide. Ooh, Lisa said, this is not a bean. It's not, said Corduroy. Then what is it? It's a green pepper, said Lisa. Remember, he got beans from under the bed, or seeds from under the bed. But you can't always tell what's going to grow just by looking at a seed, right? A green pepper, thought Corduroy. Is that good? I love green peppers, said Lisa. Phew, thought Corduroy. Corduroy, you did a great job. I always wanted to do a great job, said Corduroy.
We got some poems about the garden. Now, who knows what a poem is? It's a story that rhymes. Okay, let's read one about the spring alarm. Who is this? What kind of animal is this? A rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Do you see the crocus in the sun? Cock-a-doodle-doo. You know that spring has begun. Now this is a cute one here. It's called Dig In. Dig a little, dig a lot. Dig a brand new garden spot. Plant a little, plant a lot. Plant the seeds and bulbs you bought. Wait a little, wait a lot. Wait much longer than you thought. Pick a little, pick a lot. And share the best bouquet you've got. Seeds, do not forget to tell me lots of or you'll not get forget-me-nots. To grow enough to eat all year, your seeds must be tip-top. So plant both ends of old toy cars and you'll have a bumper crop. Get it? Bumper on the end. Okay. May Day. May Day is coming up soon. It's the first day of May. It says fold a paper basket, flowers tucked inside. Tiptoe, knock, knock, quick, now run and hide. Badminton bad, serve it fast, whoosh, whack, zooming past, smack back, zing, ping, ping, pong, bing, bong, going on, landing on the neighbor's lawn. Who knows how to do math? Add things up. How many is this? 2 seeds and 2 seeds. Now that makes 4. But plant them in the ground and you'll have lots more. A blue ribbon is when you grow the biggest, bestest vegetables and then you take it to the state fair. Y'all hang on to these squiggles right now because you're about to squiggle me to death. Sit still. To grow the size that wins the prize, it's always best to fertilize. Dancing in the breeze. Who likes to dance outside on a pretty spring day? Me. Well, I went to the garden to pick some peas and found them dancing in the evening breeze. The day was hot, so I joined right in. I tapped my toes and I began to grin. Peppers in a polka and the snow peas snapped. Beans in a boogie and the cabbage clapped. Squash square dancing with a cha-cha chard. Watermelon waltzing all around the yard. Picked my supper with the greatest of ease. Everything was swinging and dancing in the breeze. We're going to read one more over here. Pick a petal. Can everybody see that one over there with the big bug? Pick a petal loves me. Pick another loves me not. Pick a petal shows me a bald bouquet is all he got.
Okay, this is a short one, but it's a good one. And it's about Freddie and Flossie, the Bobbsey Twins. And the title says, The Bobbsey Twins, Freddie and Flossie, and the Little Seed by Laura Lee Hope. Freddie and Flossie have a little seed. See how tiny that seed is in her hand? So they plant the seed. There they plant it in the ground. The dog is watching. They water the seed. Yes, because the seeds need water. What will the seed become? They're watching and watching. Will it be a flower? A tree? They're wondering. Something good to eat? The dog is hoping maybe for a bone. A plant grows from the seed. See the little plant starting to grow? The plant grows bigger and bigger. And there's a little mouse watching until the little seed, see the little seed that they planted? that became a plant is not a flower. It is not a tree. But it is good to eat. Can you tell what it was? Carrots, right.